Hello there, Joe here from the Guitar Nerds podcast, and today I'm taking a look at Native Instruments Guitar Rig 7. So if you've been listening to the Guitar Nerds podcast recently, you'll know that I've been banging on an awful lot about Native Instruments Guitar Rig 7. We've had demos on podcast episodes and things like that. I was a massive fan of how great this plugin sounded for bass. Well, of course, its bread and butter is guitar sounds, but it's also got loads of other things. It's great production tools for drums and whatnot. So I thought we'd have a little look at some of my favourite bits of Guitar Rig 7. Because the thing is, when it comes to guitar plugins, there's a couple of things. One, they tend to be largely aimed at very saturated prog metal-esque players. That's the bread and butter of a guitar plugin, because I think players like that gravitated towards plugins faster than everyone else did. And so plugin companies didn't focus so much on making great sounding organic rock and roll amps. Well, Guitar Rig 7 have absolutely done that. In fact, the whole theme of Guitar Rig 7 is that it has loads of lo-fi presets, loads of cool things, tape wobble, Fender and Vox style amplifiers, all these things that you can use to get a great old retro sound. And furthermore than that, I think it's perfect for guitarists who want to dip their toes into home recording. Sometimes these plugins, especially a comprehensive one like this with racks and racks of things on there, can be a little bit daunting and maybe aimed at the more professional producer. I actually think this is a fantastic all-in-one. If you have real gear, like vintage amps and cool stuff that you love gigging in the real world, and you're afraid to move over into plugins, I think Guitar Rig 7 is A, super affordable, and B, just sounds great and has you covered no matter what gear you have. It's comprehensive, it's awesome, it's cool. I've waffled on a lot. Let's have a look at the UI. Okay, so here it is. Here's the interface for Guitar Rig 7. You can see you've got all your modules in the middle. So we've got our amps, we've got our little compressor. Any rack gear is going bang in the middle. Over on the right hand side here, we've got our signal path. That's very handy. We can see all the various things. Oh, I've got my tuner open. I don't need that. There we go. And yeah, so we've got signal path there, amps in the middle, and on this hand side, and I think this is very, very smart, very, very handy. This is the search engine, and it is surprisingly brilliant. Okay, this is going to get you out of all sorts of situations. They've got this curated list down the bottom here, so you can kind of scroll through things, which is handy, pick different presets, but also you can select via keywords. Like, you know, they've got input source here, so if I wanted to search just for guitar guitar presets, then I can, but I can drill down into that. So if I want guitar presets, but I really want to use the AC box, then there you go. I've got curated, ready for me presets, all with the AC box. Now, that's not to say that you have to use any of the presets. You can change here from presets to components, and then it shows you all the various components that it has. And again, you can drill down. You can say, I just want to see the amplifier components here. And it's very easy to switch them. So, so if I wanted to look at maybe modulation here, and I said I didn't want this vintage vibrato. I love everything else about this AC box, but I want tremolo instead. You can just grab that here, place it over the top, and boom, I have a tremolo. So very straightforward, very intuitive, super easy to use. Now, I do want to go back to that thing that I had, just I was messing around with that. Oh yeah, I was over in presets and I had simple pleasures. There it is, simple pleasures. Here it is. Really great. We've got our Fender style amp. We've got a little compressor on the end. This is really cool. We've got room and cabinet, and you see it's moved back. It gives you kind of a natural sounding organic slap back, which is kind of nice. Lovely reverb on that, and of course we can change any of the controls. Lovely. Of course I can defeat that if I want. And now I've got that room sound, that kind of natural slapback. Kind of handy. I like that. I can make that a little drier if I grab this over here. That's pretty cool, but I did actually like that. And let's turn this reverb back on. I mean, that sounds great, but we can really easily add a bunch of things over here. Let's go to components and let's have a little look. Maybe let's add a distortion. We've got screamers, tube screamers. Oh, yes, this is new. This is the Seattle Fuzz. I kind of think it's pretty cool. I love it. I love the sound of that, but I probably want something a little bit less full on. So let's just grab the tube screamer, pop it over the top. I really like that, but it would be cool to add something to warm it up a little bit. This is another new module, this Kolor module, that you can just slap right on the end, and it gives you a nice finishing EQ and a bunch of presets here: solid console, analog aura, trash, full on, super amp, yada yada, tape. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Let's boost a little bit of low end that I thought was... I love it. It's great. It's a wonderful finishing touch. It just really sets off the whole preset. Very cool indeed. Now, another brilliant thing we can do is, because the whole idea behind Guitar Rig 7 was that they wanted to add a bunch of lo-fi presets, lo-fi modules, that you could get some great organic sounding guitar sounds, old school sounding guitar sounds. Let's listen to some of those. I was messing around with one earlier called I need to go to presets. It was called Old Guitar Tapes. There we go. And there it is. I just double click and that drops that in. Now, the reason I love this so much is it's got this thing right here, this tape wobble. I'll show you the plugin and then we'll mess around with this tape wobble because it's very cool. It sounds great, but I love this wow and this flutter. We can add a little bit of that, a little bit of this, scrape, saturation, tape, age. Oh, these are all the controls I want. That is a bit too much. I know I've only barely scratched the surface of what Guitar Rig 7 is capable of. There's a whole load of things that this can do. I've only even messed around with a few modules in this video. I'm going to make a few more videos showing other things that Guitar Rig 7 does really well, especially bass, because it does bass incredibly well. And there are lots of more comprehensive videos on there if you want to deep dive into its features. What I'm doing here is showing you just how good I think it is, and for those go-to sounds like the tape wobble, that Fender style amplifier with that gorgeous reverb, and the color module as well. Those things, I would just use them all the time. This plugin's worth what it costs for those things alone, let alone all the other amazing stuff that you get in there. So that's it. The Guitar Nerds podcast airs weekly on Wednesdays. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.